Oh my God, I'm so tired. So I've been in the recording studio and I've been under headphones all day. I recorded my live cello and my live viola, and I figure I should tell you what the difference is. In terms of hearing, in terms of knowing the difference, I would be very hard pushed to tell you the difference between a viola and a cello, other than the electric. This is electric viola and electric cello. Might be completely different with an acoustic. I don't have an acoustic viola. I should probably get one, but one's got enough with trouble with instruments at the moment. Other than the sort of range, so the higher up you go, imagine a piano. If you're going higher up to the treble end, the higher up you go on the cello, it gets much, much harder to play. So at some point, it's just easier to pick up the viola and play what you want to play on the viola. So that would be the obvious thing. So I did a bit of high-pitched viola, but I mean, you can get high-pitched stuff on the cello. It's a big old instrument, and the viola is actually quite small. So I thought that's quite interesting, actually, in terms of which bit of the tune. Do I want a really high bit? Okay, use the viola, and obviously a violin would be even higher. I'm so tempted to get a violin. I really am. I'm just thinking I may as well just have everything. But I'm going to resist for the time being. Maybe I should get an acoustic. No. I want electric for recording. Anyway, that was the first thing. But the other obvious thing is, as a performer, it's just the physicality of it. So when you have to move, when you have to do shifts and things like that, it's much, much quicker and easier on a viola because there's hardly anywhere to go on it. Your fingers are really cramped up. And I know I've read that on a violin, your fingers are squished together, absolutely squished. And of course, on a cello, I've got tiny hands, but my hands, especially in first position, my fingers are really wide apart. So I thought that was really interesting. Just the ability to move around the fingerboard is completely different physically. It's more like a truck on the cello. Even the bow is more truck-like. So I'm not going to say that I can't finesse on the cello, because I can. But you do have the mechanics of it and the physicality of it are very, very different. But you kind of get to know. Of course, again, this is with an electric instrument. I've got an electric Yamaha viola and an electric Yamaha cello. So perhaps the similarity is very close, because you don't have all that lovely resonance. And for me, that works quite well because I use a lot of After Effects and I use electronica a lot. But also, the neighbours, they don't want to hear me practicing all night. They really don't. Trust me, they do. Because all I do is scales, pretty much. Boring for anyone who's listening. Not boring for me. I love them. I love doing my scales. I really do. So I was thinking today in terms of, I was improvising. And do you know what? Doing improvised major and minor chords on the viola, considering I've only been playing it about a month or 6 weeks or something, I could picture it, and I found it easier than doing it on a piano. How amazing is that? I've been playing piano for years, since I was 7. So, yeah, really interesting. Have I wasted my money, do you think, on the viola? Because I can pretty much use either or. I mean, I just recorded viola, right, and I recorded cello, and I put them both through the Ring Shift, which is my favourite plugin, absolutely favourite plugin. And they're almost indistinguishable, except for the cello goes much lower. So you would know if you were listening to a viola, you knew your viola, you'd know what the lowest note was. and it would definitely notice, because obviously as a cello you're playing is it 2 octaves? I think it's 2 octaves lower, isn't it? So yeah, it's quite a big difference, and you would get used to hearing that. But I absolutely love my new track. I absolutely love it. I think it's the best thing I've ever done. I still can't sing, obviously, but I don't care about that. I'm an artist. It's so imperative that for me I make the art. I'm not really interested in anything else. Just, is it art? And I really feel that this track, it's not the first time I've made art in music, because when I first started this whole sort of musical journey, I was very naive about, editing, and I was ill-equipped, shall we say. My experience was, well, non-existent. And that allowed me, when you have absolute confidence, because you don't realise how bad you are, it allows you to be really, really super creative. Super, super creative. And lately I've been listening to my old tracks, and I really miss that naivety. So I've tried to emulate that today. I've tried to think, don't get wrapped up. For example, a crude example is changing key for the bridge, or to add variety. I don't need to change key, especially when you do jazz, because when you do jazz, every bar is a change of key. Also, I've used E minor, and if you are using E minor, the harmonic and the melodic scales, and I mix them up, so you're getting so much texture in one song, and it all just works beautifully, and you don't need to do anything else. Well, I don't need to do anything else. I don't need to change key. It was really important for this track, Velveteen, that I had a really constant, chilled, really laid back feel. And I think sometimes that change of key, when Boyzone or whoever all get off take that, wasn't it? They all get off their stools for the key changed. It's so naff. It's like really embarrassingly naff. And it I've been a bit of a slave to that. I've been thinking, well, I need to write a song that people can understand, and it's sort of non-art song, and that's why I was exploring folk, which I think is the closest thing to art pop music, if you see what I mean. I mean, you could argue. I'm up for being argued with on that. But folk seemed to open up some doors for me creatively. I quite liked it. Anyway, so did Vaughan Williams, of course. He loved folk music. So yes, I've done the violin, I've done the cello, and I've done the piano. Everything's done. Now I have to, because it's 15 minutes long. I thought, well, it's a bit long. It's a bit long because I have to sit and listen to it over and over again to get it right. So I'm going to cut it down to about 8 or 10 minutes. Just get rid of the boring bits, because there are some boring bits. Because I've been at it, just staring at a screen in headphones all day, I feel I need a rest. And so I'll do the mix down in the morning. I think that's a really good idea, to give yourself a break, because you stop hearing things, you stop hearing mistakes, and you stop hearing the sensible stuff, and all you hear is this amazing journey that you've been on. You sort of get seduced by the repetition. I do. It's a bit autistic, seduced by the repetition of notes, which I just love, actually. So yes, I used the Ring Shift plugin on Logic Pro, which I really like. I tried everything. No, I didn't try everything. I was just looking at the possible plugins for the string section that I could find today. Just the default ones. Of course, you can do lots of things. You don't have to use the default stuff. You can go and do all sorts of exciting things on Logic Pro. So yeah, it's nearly ready, and I'm really pleased with it. So I'm going to tonight. I'm going to do the video for it, which is nearly done. My sort of slightly pornographic AI, the stuff I got it to do. I tried penises again. It would not give me a penis. I mean, at one point I just said, give me a penis. It just didn't give me a penis. And yet it gives, I spoke about this in the last episode, so I won't repeat myself. So I didn't get one. So I started saying sausages and see what it came up with. And it was pretty much, similar. So AI seems not to have trained itself properly on the phallus. Maybe I should put in phallus or something. Perhaps I should try that. I'll do a bit of experiment. Also today, earlier, I released another t-shirt, a gaming t-shirt on my Redbubble store. So I thought that was quite nice. Girl gaming stuff. I'm finding it difficult to get into boys' heads and understand what they really like in terms of sort of fashion and, colours. So what I've ended up doing in the last 4 or 5 days is releasing t-shirts that are very much girl related. So, coding. I think Queen of Coding I did this morning or something. I wouldn't understand how to do a boys one. I think they just look at my t-shirt and go, that's rubbish. Do you know what I mean? Isn't it funny? I've got my grandson. I've got 2 grandsons, but I'm not going to pretend I understand them. I really don't. I understand the girls. I wonder if everyone feels like that. I guess if I'd brought up sons, but I don't understand boys and men at all. So yes, what else is going on? Well, I think that's it, actually. I think that's it. Oh, I was just looking at my YouTube, which is bizarrely going back up again. It went completely down, and now it's going back up again. I just wish I could make sense of it. I really do. This is Toddle Poddle. But of course, I only use Toddle Poddle really as... Oh yes, that's what I was going to tell you. I just read an article at Forbes, I think it was, talking about passive income. And passive income is very important. As an economy, it's very important to set things up that just sort of earn money on their own. But as an entrepreneur, I aim for, serious passive income. And, I fully intend to spend about 10 years building it to sit back for my pension. So all these things are actually my, thinking about my pension when they will generate, hopefully, passive income. Of course, the problem with passive income is, especially if your idea is, maturation time 20 years or maturation time. I mean, I've got stuff that in 20 years will have matured and be of interest to people. So I need to make sure I look after it well, because it's the passive income for my dotage. But also, how do we know what's going to generate passive income other than property, which is seemingly property is the one big thing. You buy property, you rent it out, you earn money for not doing anything except buying it in the first place. And the income just goes up and up and up, exponentially. Is that the word? I do think my books will be doing that very soon. My laptop has been posted. Woo! I can't wait till it comes. Really, I can't. I mean, I'm twiddling my fingers waiting for it to arrive. Right, guys, I'm off. I'm off ski. So I'll try and put some the next book, The Usurpers. I'm serializing The Usurpers, and I did put on a sort of older kids story last night, but I didn't realise it was quite so juvenile. But there we go. Au revoir.